Warning, the following episode of Boots on the Ground contains mature language. View at your own discretion.
So,
Starting in 3, 2, 1. It is June 9th, 2013, and this is Boots on the Ground episode 12. I am your host, Gimbal B, and joining me tonight is, who to start with first? I'll go with Aiden first. How's it going, Aiden?
Hi, I'm good, you?
I'm doing good, thanks. Aside from some tech problems we had earlier, but we'll ignore those. A few, yes. My Quick Gloves isn't here, so I'll go on to Movado. How's it going, Movado?
I'm alright. Saturday night, chilling.
Cool. And also joining us for the first time is Gunnar Nightingale. How's it going, Gunnar?
Good. Hopefully things are working out well, technically, this time around.
Yeah, we actually started recording about half an hour ago. But,
Oh, excellent.
People won't have to see that.
I meant more on my end, because God knows I've trolled you guys enough already.
Well, at least Movado's actually on the call this time.
Works.
Yeah.
And,
Google Hangout hates me.
Yeah, we're using Skype this week because Aiden has Skype Premium and it actually works for him. And finally joining us is Quick Gloves. How's it going, Quick Gloves?
what's up, guys?
Cool. Right, well, we're going to do the same thing we did last week. We're going to start with the news, and then I'm going to cut the recording, and then there'll be a second video which has all the Planetary Conquest discussion. So if you just want to hear that, then skip on over to that video. But for now, we'll just go with the news. So first topic is Templar event wraps up. And I'm going to start with Iden again because I know he was a Templar.
Yeah, so it was the first type of event they've done for just putting the control of the players. I think despite all the negativity, which I blame solely on the community being misinformed of their own issue, that was their own problem. But CCP, it was pretty much well done. They said, here's how much SP you're going to have. Here's the items you're going to have. See Scrimmel just like, no, the production's going down with all these sounds. and I just found it really fun playing as like a real underdog character, starting off with 0 risk, so no skill books, no skills. You had a suit and a weapon, and it was just really fun because everyone was going through what is going on.
Gunnar, what are you doing?
Now what? What do you guys hear now?
Sounds like someone's stamping their feet.
Oh, that would be my brother running around.
Well, he stopped now, so continue, Charlie.
I forgot, but yeah, it was just, and a lot of negativity came around it because people were like, "Oh, we didn't get perfect characters. Oh, we got no ISK," and they just didn't see. A lot of people didn't seem to understand that it was the idea was we were supposed to be hunted mercilessly, and people were going. It's ramped participation up in instant battles for people to find these Templars, and I think it worked really well. But people were just like, oh, we didn't get a perfect character. I'm going to AFK. I'm going to buy a Templar, and I'm like, what's the point? It's just idiots, I think.
We were talking about it earlier, and I know Quick Gloves mentioned he had a bunch of people who got Templar and Sever.
Yeah, we wound up playing a couple of guys. Ted Nugent. I don't ever know how to say his name. He was one of them. We had a couple other guys, but the main thing I was saying is I saw them all grouped up. You guys said you all saw him running around solo. I know. Shout out to Low Rate Hitman. I know he was a Templar. I got to play up against him. That was kind of fun. Now I didn't know they gave you guys like. Call me ill-informed, whatever. I didn't look too much into the Templar event because I just had other issues with PC going on. Now they gave you guys tiered out scrambler rifle characters or laser characters. Like, what exactly did they give you guys? Because I didn't know that they actually gave you SP and all that. I didn't even know Templars got an extra 2 million SP.
We started with a 2 mil SP character, a Mar character. We were given no ISK, so we couldn't spend the skill straight away, which basically made our first match really easy for us to kill, even though I went like 17-4 in my first match. because people were just like, oh, a Templar, I'm going to walk in a perfectly straight line and not strafe any bullets. And we were given 3 suits, the Templar Sentinel, the Templar Logistics, the Templar Assault. I didn't use Logistics at all because I main the Logistics on my main, so there was no point in me doing that. And we were also given a Scrambler Pistol, a Scrambler Rifle, not Assault, and a Laser Rifle, which was just underwhelming as you'd expect because of all the nerfs that had happened to it. Those were all PPOs and that was it. They were basically just skins of standard gear.
There were still some guys out there that Scrambler rifle we were talking about, the Orem one. I saw a lot of you guys. Oh, I should say a lot of you guys. I saw some of the Templars rocking that Orem Scrambler rifle, and that thing does have packs quite a punch. But you notice that you said it about that laser rifles. Those guys used to run the glass cannon loadouts with the damage enhancers and the Visiums or the ELN. You're right on that. You don't see like any of them anymore.
The range is just like the range is non-existent, and it really shows. And also, they changed there wasn't an iron sight on the laser rifle before, and it was just like a zoom, which was really, really easy to target. So it's just like, I'm going to point at you and you're going to die. Now it's a circular iron sight with a little targeting thing there, and it's really hard to maintain because there's no zoom, there's barely any zoom, and the range is gone and the damage is pretty much gone because there was a damage nerf across the board. So it's pretty much been replaced by the TAC AR and the Scrambler rifle.
TAC AR is kind of dead now too.
The damage for the laser rifle is still there. I think only the Visium got touched. The problem for me with the lasers is the range, as you said, because I know one of my guys uses the lasers and he still likes it, even though with the crappy sort of iron sights. It's just the range really forces you. When a TAC AR outranges a laser rifle, you know you have problems. Something's wrong there.
How long before you think we'll actually get red dot sights or optical sights for these guns besides the TACs?
Well, that's why I use the Scrambler rifle, because it has the dot sight, and over the the assault Scrambler rifle, it's just so easy to use compared to a normal
AR.
AR, and it's just so easy for target acquisition and just aiming.
See, I've never even picked one up. I didn't even know they had a red dot sight. You're talking about a sight kind of like the SMGs, how they have the flip red?
Yeah.
No, it's like almost like a pure reflex sight.
Oh, really?
See, like a holographic sight.
I'll have to check it out. I've never even picked one up yet.
Yeah, they need to put those on the ARs, I think.
Yes, the full auto ARs needs to have a reflex sight on it. It's the iron sights are still not adequate enough, in my opinion.
So CCP fail.
I actually heard Hans was talking. He did a blog recently. We're actually going to talk about that next week because he couldn't make it on today. They're actually going to fix the laser rifle sights. Like, they're just going to change them because they aren't very good at all.
I want them to change the freaking AR sights already. Or at least allow me to customize it. I don't care if it costs me a bunch of ISK and more skill points to put a sight on my AR. Let me put a reflex sight on there, you know what I mean? I miss my red dot.
It might be that one of the other races... Why is my thing saying...
We can hear you if that's the problem.
It just said there's a problem with this call. I think someone just cut out for a second, but it's gone.
Alright.
I think one of the other races will probably get like much better sights. Like the Caldari assault rifle will probably be the one which has really nice sights compared to the Galente.
Yeah, Mimitar's not going to have anything. You can count on that.
If the Mimitar... Well, the Mimitar combat rifle so far looks like it's just going to be an SMG with a bit different barrel. So I hope it gets the Mimitar sidearm bonuses, because I just run SMGs all the time now because they do so much damage. They just don't stop firing.
Awesome. SMGs are awesome. If you're looking for the next big weapon that will become OP and get nerfed due to forum complaining, SMGs are it.
I'm actually already using one.
Yeah, they will be the next weapon that gets nerfed.
They are.
Well,
There's absolutely no reason to nerf an SMG, even at
I completely
Prof
agree with you.
fights.
I completely
Yeah.
agree with you. Those SMGs are awesome, but because of the fact that people will start using them and using them and using them, just like all the assault rifles, the Visium. In my opinion, that Visium rifle didn't really need a nerf. I mean, it may be a distance nerf, but not what they did. But a Visium laser rifle, a tier 3 Visium laser rifle, should be able to just melt whatever it hits.
I think
Yeah.
it was that it was just burning through armor like really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the because of the extra damage mods, and it was taking its heat. The reason it was so good was its heat buildup was lower. Its damage wasn't higher. All their damages were the same, if I recall.
Yeah.
Vism had like 30% more.
Was it
No,
30%?
The Visium at its proto level was disproportionately stronger compared to the ELM and the basic standard versions, but if all they did were to match its parameters similar to the way the Scrambler works now, where if you add 1 or 2 damage mods, you can really tear through armor, but at its base level, it'll do a decent amount, but it won't completely finish the job out, then it becomes a good support, long-range support weapon. Especially now that we're seeing more maps with interior spacing, I don't think you're going to see the laser being what it was when it was nonstop Manus Peak 24/7, and you were getting chewed up because you had no cover to move through.
Mm.
Yeah, after the fall of that Titan, where we could only get that Manus Peak map, and everybody just wanted to smash their TV.
That was a cool map though.
Yeah, if it wasn't overplayed.
Yeah. Although I did like the whole like burning wreckage.
Oh, you're talking about that actual map where the Titan was
Titan
down on the
event.
ground. Yeah, that was awesome. They did a good job on that. I was wicked happy to see that. I know a lot of old school Eve pilots are really that played us thought it was pretty neat to actually see that.
Yeah.
And apparently, it takes a lot to impress them. So.
Oh crap! I just opened something I shouldn't have. Oh well, I'll cut that out. I actually will cut that out this time. I keep saying that and never do. So yeah, I mean, shall we just talk a bit about the TAC AR nerf then? Like while we're on the subject.
It's getting there.
I don't know.
It's still extremely strong, but it's getting there. It's not. I'm going to kill your entire team, then reload. It's I'm going to kill 1 or 2 people, then reload. But a lot of people were saying it's hurt its mid-range more than it's hurt its close quarters. And its close quarters is generally the issue. I haven't used it since the nerf, but just halving the clip size is a big improvement.
Anybody who I know uses the TAC feels like it's gotten a little bit too much, but I feel like it's right. But the honest truth is, you really shouldn't even spec into it anymore. The glue is sufficient enough. The only difference is about 3 hit points of damage.
Oh yeah. That's a real. Yeah, he's definitely right on that. That GLU tactical rifle is all you need. If you're gonna go into ARs and you want to try the TAC out, don't waste the skill points on that damn Duval.
Mm-hmm. Only reason to go there is to get the Prof 5, and I think that's part of the other issue that skews off a lot of weapon balancing. Is
That's
you don't
the
know
power
who's
grid,
running
right?
Prof 5.
Are you talking about the optimization?
No. Proficiency, where it's adding 3% damage per level in a weapon.
Yeah.
And then you got the optimization, which is reducing the PG. Yeah, I mean that's a great skill too. But the proficiency, I mean, you're adding basically a damage mod or a damage mod and a half base level onto your weapon, and that will skew how people feel about a particular weapon. They're like, "Oh my god, they're running a proto. It's so damage dealing." But in reality, they're speccing all the way to proficiency 5 on their primary weapon a lot of the time.
I've got Prof 5 for the SMGs, and it really is probably one of the most noticeable things you can get for any weapon. It's just like, whoa,
Absolutely.
this does a lot of damage. I'm not even fit for damage, and it just shreds.
Right, you take an Ishikon assault SMG, and it's like, okay, this is pretty good. You put it to Prof 5, and you just dance around heavies and make them look silly because they really can't do anything against it.
I have to confess that I was using the keyboard and controller strafe thing against heavies, and it just worked wonders. The heavies couldn't turn faster than I could strafe around them, and it was just shredding them.
That's something we wanted to create a video for. Was I was in the war barge and I was showing my friend, I'm like, look, this is DS3. Now I'm adding keyboard input on top. This is DS3. I'm adding keyboard input on top, and we would race to the end of the war march. I clear him by 5 seconds by the time we got through. It was just that bad.
Did you see the video I did?
Where you
No,
just crab walk for a few minutes with
Yeah.
due to music.
Yeah, I put Sonic music over it. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, we should probably finish up the Templar event talk. Just like I mean, Iden, you were telling me about the Dust Uni thing that happened.
So there was one of the, so I basically went in during the Templar events. I went into matches solo just to see as many people will see a Templar and try and get a kill to count to one of their 3, which then became one of their 1. So basically anyone who killed me during that time got 2.5 mil ISK, which is probably about 55 people or so if you don't count multiple kills. And I went to this match and there were 2 squads of 6 Dust Uni players, one on my team, one on the other team. And during the match, these Dust guys were saying, Templar, come over here. And I was like, okay, they'll defend me. That's cool. So I went over there and they said, can you go to our other squad who will come over here and can you just let them kill you over and over again so they can get their 2.5 mil? And I was just like, no, I'm not. That's cheating. So I proceeded to murder all of them over and over again because there seems to be this strange thing. If there's a big $sign above you, people won't try and dodge your bullets. They all just walk straight towards you, just assuming you're going to die. But you don't, because I was in a heavy with a scrambler rifle, because I'm not going to let them kill me if they're asking for that. And I start killing them, and none of them managed to kill me. And the Dust Uni people on my side just got angry, like Call of Duty player angry. They were screaming, saying, like, just swearing. I'll try not to swear because of who was watching, and they were threatening to report me to CCP, saying I was being unsportsmanlike, and I found that incredibly amusing, considering they were just asking me to stand still and be murdered. And at the end of the match, none of the Dust people killed me. So it went from being probably one of the worst matches to one of like the most smug I've ever felt during a match. And I had some really great matches during the Templar event, and the DDoS kind of cut it short. There was some guys who invited me to join their squad. There was 1 slot left, and we got 4 orbital strikes, and they literally formed a shield around me of people so I wouldn't get shot, and it worked really well. We got 4 orbitals, and I think I was near 30-0 as a Templar, and it was just amazing. And then I tried to like thank them, and the DDoS happened, and I lost contact. But that was a great game. So there were ups and downs. Good event though.
Cool. I'm just gonna fix Skype, so I'm gonna cut the recording, and then we will be like back immediately.
Hamsters. He must have diabetic hamsters. They're not keeping his internet wheel going.
Okay, welcome back. Movado is having tech problems, so he's going to be on a different show. But we have more news to cover, and Quick Gloves has to go in like 50 minutes, so we're just going to speed along to the next thing. PlanetSide 2 confirmed for PlayStation 4, along with like tons of other free-to-play first-person shooters and stuff as well.
Wait a minute, isn't this a Dust show? Why are we talking about PlanetSide?
It was more just like, I've heard a lot of people saying, I want to quit Dust and stuff like that. Do you reckon this is going to be a big hit to the Dust population?
Dude, you're going to have that with every FPS game that comes out. The new Battlefield 4 comes out, watch the servers take a hit. New COD comes out, watch the servers take a hit. PlanetSide 2, PS4, the servers will take a hit. It's going to happen, man. It happens with every game. The only thing that CCP should focus on is their core player base. Like, you look at their EVE players, all right? They don't have an MMO background like, say, World of Warcraft, but their player base is so hardcore about that game and so in love with what they do that they keep playing. They keep paying that subscription. They should start looking at these guys in the forums that have actually been here since beta, or even the guys that came in open beta that are very passionate about it, that like what's going on. They should take input that way. I know it's hard to say because people use alts and different things. They never really know who's who, but they can't go and try to basically make this game the next COD just to make everybody happy. They had a vision, they had a focus, they should just stick to it. Whoever sticks around it will enjoy the game and enjoy the actual vision that CCP had, not a franchise shooter like all the ones coming out in the near future.
I'd say well said, actually.
Yeah,
Thank you.
pretty. As a long time avid loather of anything Call of Duty, I agree.
Yeah,
think
I was
most
very
people
happy.
agree with Call of Duty being awful. They just don't like it.
I was very happy with, seeing what CCP originally wanted to offer. A massive online experience that was cross-platform, that was a sandbox. PlanetSide is just an ongoing war. There's no real ability there. You just fight. You know what I mean? You're just a cog in the wheel. You're just an ant, going through the motions. In Dust/Eve, empires are forged. Names are made, pillage. You can do what the imps did to us. I mean, they come in and burn your flag. I mean, you can literally do everything in Dust and Eve. And if people out there aren't willing to put their time in, then they are COD players. They are Battlefield players. They are short-term players that just want the initial experience and they don't want any substance. This game has so much to offer and even more in the near future. I mean, look at what they've done in a year and a half from closed beta to now. Anybody that was in the closed beta should be very, very happy with what CCP's done so far. Yes, there's still issues. Yes, we still want more. But they've done a great job listening to our feedback, engaging us in the community, and giving us something to be happy playing.
Pretty much. It's,
I mean,
I-
I think that's a bit hit or miss there. I mean, yeah, to say that people want just the COD or Battlefield experience, I think that's a little bit more than that. I think they just want to be able to compete quickly, especially the competitive players. They want to be able to get in. They don't want to, grind 4, 5, 6 months at a time. I mean, I'm sitting on 15 million SP, but I've had that since January, and so you're looking at 5, 6 months worth of playing regularly, capping out every week or AFK or whatever I had to do just to get all of that, plus boosters. I mean, I put money into the game because I wanted to support the devs. I thought they had a great idea. I think they still have a great idea. But in terms of the core, and this is still a core shooter, in terms of the core, there's issues, and it keeps cropping up over and over again. Every build is a new one. It becomes really difficult to get back into it. And eventually people just get tired of it. They want to be able to compete, but they can't do it the way they want to, and it creates just a barrier to get in. If you lower that barrier, then everything else about Eve and Dust opens up. The persistence, I think, is what really is the selling point for Dust. It's, when it moves to nullsec, when faction warfare and PC opens up, and you're actually making a real impact in the Eve New Eden universe, which unfortunately I feel like CCP is kind of protecting the Eve players a little bit because they don't want us really screwing up with their stuff, especially faction warfare. I know there are people in faction warfare and Eve side that just don't want us screwing with their game mode, and I feel like that's kind of the reason why there's this barrier. We don't have economics, we don't have really any of the things that you see Eve side yet in Dust. Now, I know they're working towards that, but they need to get those things out to create that link, the true link between Eve and Dust. Until you get that, then really all you have is a 16-player lobby shooter that's okay and fun to play with, but it's 2 game modes. There's no capture the flag. There's no demolition, which you can create Dust versions of. There's, whether it's stealing a clone, a CRU from a district and taking 50 clones with you that way, so you have a raiding mechanic, or it's blowing a hole in the wall to raid the district the next day. You can create different modes that are central to what Dust is and still have them function like the classic FPS game modes that people are used to, just with a Dust twist. And I think that's what the CCP really needs to focus on, as well as balancing the actual FPS mechanics. And I mean, in terms of lowering skill points, I don't want people to max out a character right away, but at the same time, they need to be able to at least hit their first specialty as soon as they can. And after that, if they're branching out, that's fine. I mean, CCP will add a lot of new content down the road. I personally am in favor of an Aurum respec that you can use twice a year. That in itself is basically like giving yourself a DLC pack. You can change your character from, after 6 months from a dropship pilot to a tanker. It's
Kind of like
basically
how
you
Eve
pay-
has the remap. You can do it.
Yeah, and it's basically creating a paid DLC because there's more than enough content in the game already. Just people just want to be able to experience all of it.
Yeah. When they come out with the player market and things like that, and they actually make it more sustainable, I think those people in faction warfare and some of the Eve pilots will feel a little bit more comfortable interacting with us. Because, like you are right in the fact that some of these Eve pilots want nothing to do with us. A lot of the major alliances, save a few, Eve side don't really care about what's going on. I mean, they look at it like we're still in beta phase and we're just doing whatever we want to do. Now, some of them are trying to be proactive and do big things. Like Goons are making an attempt, Test made an attempt. They're still working on things like that happens. But guys like NC Dot, Noli, they don't have a lot of really big contacts on this side because it's not primary. There's nothing that they should really be worried about. At this point, we don't really have that much interaction with them. We get on Eve and we fly to a planet and we drop a bomb. That's really it. When we can fight over things and actually help flip systems, I think that's when it'll really matter. But until then, it's just like you said. It's just something that we get on, have fun playing.
When they get those space elevators and the ability to raid ships that they were showing at FanFest, where everyone's like, "Take my money."
Did you hear the part where they said that we're going to be able to like raid stations? Like the way to flip one of the systems is you actually go in right on fleet. You go in, you're fighting, you're shooting towers, whatever. You're reinforcing stuff. The Dust Mercs will actually be able to engage fights on stations. Like go into stations and fight.
That'd be pretty cool.
That does sound pretty cool.
Did anybody else hear that, or was somebody pulling my chains when I was talking?
No. They were showing that.
They were showing that. Okay.
Yeah, in FanFest, they showed mercs inside of a spaceship, actually fighting within. It seemed like
that's
a super cap.
That's gonna be badass.
If you're fighting inside a super cap, that would be awesome.
And dude, how crazy would it be if you won the fight, you could take the super for your own alliance? That'd be something.
I think that's actually the idea.
Oh, that'd be a new game mode, dude. That could be an entire game mode.
You could either destroy it or you can shut down its primary systems and take it over. You could change its turrets and actually turn the ship against its allies in mid-battle.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I remember Danny was telling me he was in the room when they announced that, and there was just a huge like inhaling of breath when they mentioned it from like every Eve player.
I bet some of them really don't want to see that. You know what I mean?
To be fair, I think they hate super caps more than they hate dust. I think if we could just blow them up, it would be good. They would be happy with that, because that would be like killing two birds with one stone for them.
Well, the Skyfire rocket map is kind of, if you look at the trailers, their idea of being able for us to shoot from the ground, and if that happens, then CCP can then fully implement their bunker mechanic from FanFest, and Eve pilots can indiscriminately bombard us from space, which I know they want to do. So, if CCP gets that going, that's another link that they can really promote.
But yeah, I mean, the game has a lot of future left in it, and there's like a lot of cool stuff coming down the line. It's coming down the line, so it's going to be a while.
Right.
Yeah, it's patience. Patience always pays off, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not looking for immediate satisfaction. I'm looking long term. I want to be able to actually have a dynasty and keep it going over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if the other games that come out on the PS4 or whatever, if like people really want to leave and go play something else, if they really don't like Dust, then like I'm happy for them to go be happy.
You have David's permission to go play other games now. Okay, it's official. You have the green light if you want to go. You're allowed.
Gimbal stamp of approval.
There you go.
Anyway, moving on. Two last topics. Well, there's a third, but I'm actually going to put that in the PC section. But first is LAVs. Now, I did an blog post thing about this where I was basically saying that LAVs are mostly fine and that like they really shouldn't rebalance them. But I'm kind of wondering what people's thoughts are, because there's a lot of people complaining about LAVs right now.
In my opinion, the main two problems with LAVs are that there are a lesser one is there are BPOs for LAVs. So I think I've got 4 BPOs for LAVs, and I use they're all exactly the same anyway. So that provides a free thing. So if you're a heavy, you can be a heavy. You can just get a free LAV. You can run someone over. If you miss, get out, kill them, get in the LAV. Or if you lose the LAV, call it another one. And it's just a free cycle, and it's almost more. It's more or less risk free. If you use like a militia heavy, it's just no risk on your end. You can kill anything you want.
The guys in Sever were making a joke saying it was like GTA all over again.
But that's generally not a big issue now. Now there are a lot of people who really like the murder taxi doctrine go into logistics LAVs, which have a lot of health compared to the militia ones. So, and they with dedicated anti-vehicle, they'll go down, which is fine. The other main issue is they don't seem to appear. They don't seem to have a scan noise value. So a lot of the time, even if you're in a scout suit, they just won't appear on your
radar.
Direct radar. That's it. And it'll either be too late or it's until someone looks at it. And I've actually I've tried to test this out, and it's kind of hard to do it in an open environment. I can't really ask someone else to say, just call an LAV and drive around me in circles. And it's a lot of the time it only seems to appear on radar when I'm looking at it. So I think that's something that needs to be changed as well, because LAVs and tanks are things, they're pretty big and they should be picked up by the sensors of your suit. And other than that, they're pretty much fine, in my opinion.
Well, the one thing, Connor, you're kind of breathing into your mic there. The one thing I was going to say is that also they kind of kill people at like 5 miles an hour, which feels a little bit silly. Like, I guess they should have to have like a bit of momentum behind them before they actually kill someone.
Yeah, they're definitely a little OP.
And they could do with taking self-damage as well at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, if you hit a heavy who weighs, like, let's say a ton, then, like, you're hitting a solid ton of metal with your car. Like, that's gonna do some damage.
So if you hit an Amar heavy, you should take quarter damage. I don't know. The Logi LAV, I mean, I've had guys, them hacked AV grenades, the ones that were for sale with ISK, and then they switched them back to Aurum. I've had guys with I'll always pronounce it wrong, the Warakami or whatever that swarm launcher is. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
The Proto.
Yeah. I've had people hit them with that, and it's only taken them to half shield, and then they start repping, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Those things are strong. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a tank driver. I know a couple of my guys in tanks will, if they're using blaster turrets or anything, the LAVs are so fast that they can't even get their guns lined up on that thing because the LAV's just ripping around them. So they're hard to kill. I don't know.
The Logi guys are even worse.
The reason they're so hard to kill is because the idea is they stand next to they sit next to the infantry and they're repping the infantry. They're like a vehicle that aids infantry to push that isn't a tank. So they are meaty, but that's why they can take so much damage. It's just this emerging mechanic that's just so effective, coupled with the health of the Logi LAV. It really makes it so frustrating to play against, because you can't just say, because a lot of people were used to the old LAVs where you could literally you could fire a bullet at them and they would lose a wheel, or they'd do a flip. And so a lot of people were still used to that. So that's kind of where the frustration comes from, and then the mechanic itself. But the reason they've got so much health is because of the job it's designed for.
Well, would that be a good way to implement a fix? Is you can blow out the tires?
Why not slow them down? Why should they be so fast? I mean, I understand they got health, but if they're that strong, slow them down. You know what I mean? So that the tanks can actually line them up, or that they can't outrun swarms. Back in the day when you used to be able to put that that booster on the dropships, you could literally outfly swarm launchers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now they're doing that with the LAV.
I mean, I guess make it so that they actually need to put like an afterburner or something on them, so that they need
to be that fast. Yeah, I agree with that.
that would also help out the Scouts LAVs, because the Scout LAVs are exactly the same speed, slightly better acceleration, which is negligible after like a second of driving. The bonuses for the Scout LAV are pretty negligible, so there's no reason you'd use one over a Logi.
So I guess the general thoughts on it are make them a bit slower and make it so that LAVs don't one-shot people with, like, walking speed.
Does anybody else ever get a, you know how you can shoot at the gunner? Do any of you guys ever feel like he's got like a force field around him that's hard to hit sometimes? Or is it pretty easy for you guys?
I've had no issues killing the gunner. The main problem I've had with trying to shoot out
The driver?
the driver.
Yeah, that's a pain in the butt.
Worse today. It is a pain because there's only his head visible, but a lot of people use heavies again, and heavies have a lot of health, like base health, if they have like rank 3 in armor upgrades and shield upgrades. They've got over 1,000 health, or near 1,000 health. So it's just something you can't really do reliably.
Have you seen any of Nod Karas's videos? Actually?
I haven't.
Oh, he sniper and Eon, very, very good. I guess like I lucked out when I joined Eon because all the snipers, I hate snipers, and we have like loads of good ones, so I don't have to like worry about them anymore. But something he does is he waits for enemies to get into an LAV. He'll like just camp with a sniper rifle pointed at an LAV, wait for someone to get in the driver's seat, and just headshot them instantly. Just do that over and over again. But yeah. Last thoughts on LAVs, if anyone has any more?
Nope.
Not really.
Last news topic then. CCP hires a new community rep for Dust, and it's Mint Chip. And I know some people have some very strong thoughts about this, and some people don't really care. I'm mostly in the wait and see kind of crowd.
I think I would have been a better hire.
I think there are a lot. I don't see, like, no offense to her, and I rarely even pay attention to her, but all I know is like the amount of drama she creates from her videos. From what I've heard, she's actively encouraged people to quit Eve before, and she's, for lack of a better, she's just had a go at the player base time and time again. She's never played Dust, as far as I'm aware. There must be hundreds of better applicants for this who we know plays Dust, who have actually participated since the beta and been vocal and well thought out. And it's just strange to see that she's suddenly just gone out of the blue. Oh, I'm your new community manager. And a lot of people, like, the amount of hate, the sheer amount of hate that came from the Eve, I'm so bad with words today, the Eve forum thread for her welcome thing was just a massive, just a hate thread. And it got locked.
Got deleted as well, apparently.
Got deleted. And thanks to Cribber, everyone can see that on Eve search. But don't tell CCP I said that. Thank you, Cribber. And then Dust went that way as well, but a lot of people in Dust were like, who's this Minchip anyway? But even in those pages, there were a lot of people saying, having, you know, from what I can see, well thought out opinions of Minchip of why she shouldn't be here. And then hundreds of people replying saying, you're an anti-feminist. And I'm like, what? Where did that come from? And then all the White Knights came, so it is going in the same direction, the Eve thread thing. So I'm trying to stay in the neutral side. I'm just going to say, I hope she is a good hire and that she's useful. But at the moment, there's nothing to say that she is. And there's quite a lot of people saying that she won't be.
You know, I'm actually going to ask Gunnar, have you actually heard of Mintchip before now?
Actually, I have. It's one of the ways I found out about Eve. It was through her videos, and I never really enjoyed them. I was like, man, this game must really suck, because it was, you know, like, are you more PvE or more PvP? But one of the things I definitely noticed was towards the later months, like right around November, when Chromosome was about to drop, people were still requesting her to make coverage on Dust, and she wasn't following Dust in the slightest sense. Like, she had no care for it, didn't want to even think about it. She was, talking about WoW. It was like, why is WoW bringing me back? I'm like, well, that's great. If you enjoy WoW, go be a community manager for WoW. I mean, given that she's coming in to try and develop a community about Dust, I would expect her to know Dust, know the game itself. It's kind of hard to create a community if you really don't know or understand the game, and it's a bit disingenuous to say, "Oh, I'm playing Dust now." I mean, there have been people who've been playing it for over a year and a half, 2 years. Could have easily tapped anybody from within the community. I can see why they might have wanted to bring somebody from the outside, so it didn't create any hate within the community, I guess. But at the same time, given what her job description is, I'm not 100% sure that she's not going to be bad at it. I can't say, because it's not like she needs to have an intricate level of knowledge of Dust itself, but she does need to be able to communicate with us and be able to, help develop the community itself. If that just means just working around the forums, then really I don't care. I mean, because anybody can do that, and if she wants to do it, so be it. But I'm a bit hesitant. I hope she does a good job, but my main concern is she's just bringing a lot of flack on herself just for being her, and it sucks for her, but hopefully it doesn't create too much of a divide. I think people have kind of like had their initial say, and they're like, okay, we'll just wait for you to screw up now, and then we'll pounce.
Yeah. The initial hate is going down, but she is the only CCP employee to instantly be hated by the entire, like almost the entire combined player bases of even Dust.
So she's starting unifying the community? Is that what you're telling? She's unifying the community? Isn't that part of her job? She's unified them.
I've never looked at it that way. But
she's doing something right.
Not within the first day of employment, within the first hour of employment, she was instantly the most hated person. And I mean, like, there were other people who were hated, like Darius, CCP. Who was Darius? Darius the Third became CCP. I can't remember what his name was. Is a CCP, but he got a lot of hate because he was just quite. I don't really know. I think a lot of people didn't like him, and he had quite a lot of hate. But like compared to Minchip's thread, it was just nothing.
She could have just came in under a different alias instead of Minchip, which is what I thought most CCP devs do if they are, if they did have a character within the universe. So she could have come in incognito, her entire past behind, and people would have, over the next year until they actually saw her at FanFest or saw a photo of who actually CCP whatever was going to be, she could have at least built her own reputation based on the merits of her work, and she would have completely avoided all of this. Now she's going to be watched every second of her day. Like, it's like you now have all these thousands of eyes just waiting on you to just make one silly mistake. Like, I feel bad. I really do feel bad about it. But
as soon as you said incognito, I had this vision of her like doing really well at a job, and like Eve prospers and go to FanFest, and she says, "Hi, I'm CCP blah blah" on stage, and then like there's like a slight pause, and then suddenly Iceland's burned to the ground.
We'll give her time, see what she does. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like, I don't want to like shit on Dolan, but a lot of people thought Dolan like wasn't the greatest pickup ever at CCP, and I haven't like heard a bad word about him aside from some people not liking his commentary at the New Eden Open. But I thought he was fine. But he really proved everybody that didn't like him wrong, because he's been doing a pretty good job since then, aside from like a couple of little hiccups, which even he admitted to.
Yeah, there's because there is a difference between professional personality and your online personality.
Yeah.
So, and that just Dolan was hardworking, and no one can really fault him unless he faults himself, which he has done.
No.
Dolan's doing a really good job.
But Dolan didn't have an Amazon list either, so that
don't get me started on the Amazon list. Some people have bought
a TV. Yeah, it's just
more than one TV.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna like wrap this up. I'm just gonna say that like, I don't really mind her being an employee. Like, I mean, Iden will know Lauren Elise, who got picked up by
Yeah.
NASL, and she turned out to be a really great employee there and did lots of good things for them. So, I mean, it's not quite the same, but there's some similarities there.
Yeah, it's pretty the same. Although I don't think Lauren Lease was a bit as widely hated. She got a bit of flack at the start, and everyone was like, "Wow, what are you doing? No one should go into tournaments now because this is going to kill esports forever." Which is just
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous, but I hope it all works out. But if she does make a mistake, people are just going to come down on her like a ton of bricks.
pretty much like the Luminaire Titan. Was that really bad? I'm sorry.
It's just a mental image. I'm just going to leave this on. Anyway, thanks for tuning into the news bit of the show. We're just going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to start the planetary conquest. Also, quick load has to go in like half an hour, so we'll hurry along.
Okay.